Okay.
Hello everyone. And welcome back to Hyrule Warriors, the definitive edition. And as normal, I have my friend with me, and as you just heard, one of his friends as well.
Hello, once again, it is me, Card. I've done this introduction 24 other times and this is episode 25. So you all should know me by now if you've been paying attention. However, for this recording session, as Emily Serene, but however I want, whichever name I call her. As mentioned, I brought someone with me. Ryu.
You.
Oh, yes, I know. I just thought I would make you feel awkward for a minute there. All right, here is Rio back and ready to play.
Well, technically, Serene's going to be doing the playing. We're just the two jokers that'll be talking while she's doing stuff.
Right.
Don't ruin my hopes, man.
Hey, pardon me for being the realist of the group.
Yes, real and to the point. To such a point, you need a spear to get pointier.
Was that really the best segue you got to go into that that she's gonna be playing as Volga today?
I was not even trying with that. I had no clue.
Right.
I'm just spontaneous like that, I suppose.
Yeah, but yeah, now that she's gathered her minions, it's time to conquer Hyrule.
Yep.
Why does it sound like a bad remix of something I've already seen?
Well, I can put it to you this way. After 10,000 years, I've given it to darkness. It's time to conquer Hyrule.
Yeah. I was thinking something a little closer to home to the younger viewers.
Oh, come on. Never mind. Seriously, a guy can't make a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers joke anymore around here.
I understand.
Oh, you can try, but people are still going to look at you funny. And again, they do that anyway.
I understand.
But yeah, now we're trying to conquer Hyrule. So this'll be fun, especially since Volga. But anyway, talk about something else. Kind of what I was hinting about last time. Final bosses. The good, the bad, and the what the frack were they thinking?
Well, I can start us off on that one. Especially with the way that you worded that there, I can definitely say the what the frack were they thinking? That has to go straight to Bellum from Hourglass.
Oh yes, the parasite squid thing.
Yeah. So, don't get me wrong, Phantom Hourglass was a good game, for what it was. But I just the Bellum fight just confused the ever-living crap out of me. I shouldn't say that was confusing so much as it was just weird and not. It didn't sit right with me, is what I can say. I don't know if that makes any more sense, but
yeah, it just didn't feel right to you. Now you're talking about the fight with actual Bellum, the Bellum ship, or Bellum-Beck, because technically the dude had 3 forms.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of referring to the whole of Bellum. But if I had to pick one form in particular, it would be the actual Bellum fight. So.
Okay. So, Ryu, final bosses that made you just go, what the frack were they thinking?
There's one that just made me shake my head a little bit because of a reference I already knew of before I started playing that one. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the old school variety for the old Game Boy Color.
Oh, you're referring to Nightmare, aren't you?
Oh, I'm talking to the multi-physical transforming guy that just reminded me so much of a coup. I just had to shake my head again and again and again, and I keep looking around, where the heck's Jack at now?
Yeah, that thing was known as the Nightmare. Not my choice for what the frack boss, but hey, I can understand why you picked that.
Right, Nightmare, Deathel.
Yeah.
He goes by both names. A lot of people know him probably better as Deathel. At least that's the name that I'm most familiar with when it comes to, the Link's Awakening final boss. So.
Okay, now allow me to shift gears to bosses. What the frack when it comes, because Melodus, the final boss from Spirit Tracks. Yeah, that's the one I've got to say what the frack, because his first phase, you're fighting Zelda. We did that once already. Right. Then second phase, giant train. Then knock off Ganon.
Actually, the train was first, and then you fought him in Zelda, because you had to board the train after defeating the train. But yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying, And on the note of Melodus, I did mention that Bellum was my what the frack. But Melodus would definitely come as a very close second to me. Because the boss was fun, but the train part really was what the frack. I can't tell you how many times I died during that, because if you're playing the part where you're fighting the train, you're on the track and you have to switch tracks and everything to get next to them and then attack them from there. And I kept having trouble with, I would switch tracks and I'd hit him or something, and he would switch to the track that I was on, but then there wasn't a switch back, and I would literally get stuck behind him and not be able to do anything because you can't attack him from behind. But I couldn't switch to a different track because they were in very specific spots. And so I kept having trouble with getting stuck behind him. And if you get stuck behind him, he just stops. And you smack into him and then just constantly take damage until you die. So yeah. Now since we've gotten the weird bosses out of the way, time to piss some people off. Worst final bosses. And I'll go first because, oh boy, this final boss was one that I did not really like. I know I'm gonna get some hate mail because I know people like this guy. Okay.
I did not like the Vati fight in Minish Cap. It went on one phase too long, and it's just, and to me I was like, ugh, I just want this to be over with.
I will admit, when it comes to Minish Cap, I had a lot of issues with the Vati fight. I thought the first phase was good. I didn't care much for the third phase. And then when it comes to... Okay, that's not where the gold sculpture is. When it came to the third... the third phase where you have to, shrink down and fight him and stuff like that, if it had just been, deflecting the bolts back and hitting him, that would have been fine. But the, having to shrink down, diminish size, going inside of him, and, using the cane to, knock his arm off him and stuff like that. I get it. They were trying to go for the idea of, making you use something of everything for the final boss. But
let's just face it, that was not a good way to try and implement it.
Yeah, it like you said, it went on one phase too many,
Mm-hmm. So Ryu, which games fans are you gonna piss off, saying that their final boss was the worst?
Honestly, the boss I'm thinking about was just a complete disappointment. I mean, it was. I cannot recall which of the games it was from, though. It's been so long ago, I can't remember the particular name, but it was one of the different variations of Ganon that had come out over the years.
Right.
Yeah, because let's face it, Ganon's had a lot of forms. So which variation of Ganon did you find disappointing?
It had to be on one of the handheld systems because the graphics on it wasn't all that great. But it was basically Ganon came out. It was the final boss battle, and he came out as the green giant boar thing with the spear.
Huh.
And his entire fight was him chasing after you with the spear, either charging at you repeatedly or just spinning the thing above his head in a radial attack, and he would just continue to chase you and try and shove you off cliffs and stuff. That's pretty much all his fight was.
Huh. I'm not exactly that familiar with him, so Serene, you got any insight here?
Honestly, the one that it sounds like you're talking about is A Link to the Past, which was on the Super Nintendo. It's the only Ganon fight that I can think of where you can get knocked down to a separate level. And you were talking about like the fire bats and him like swinging the spear around. And in not Twilight Princess, the Link to the Past version, he has a trident, and he does spin the trident around. He teleports all over the place, and he tries to knock you off the platform that you're on, and every time that he knocks you off, you have to start the entire fight over again. Then there's one point where he like becomes invincible, and you have to he becomes invisible, and you have to light the torches and then shoot him with the silver arrow when the torches are lit.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, that would be A Link to the Past. That was the Super Nintendo. Although I can see where you would think that could have been the handheld, because it is possible that the version that you played was the A Link to the Past for the Game Boy Advance. So that's possible. If you're remembering it being on a handheld, it could be A Link to the Past for Game Boy Advance you're thinking of.
That was probably it.
So
well. Anyway, we've gone weird. We've gone bad. And since we're at the boss of this stage, how about we finish up with our favorite bosses, our favorite final bosses from the franchise?
Well, before we do that, I will note that for me, I was agreeing with you on the Vaddie fight was not very good and commenting on that.
Right. Sorry.
No problem.
Jump the gun.
Yeah, no, but that wasn't really my least favorite of the bosses in the game, in the series. When it comes to final bosses, I'm trying to think of how to word this. I'm also kind of focusing here. Also trying to actually remember what I'm trying to say here. But no, when it comes to the final bosses and everything, There were a lot of good ones. There were quite a few bad ones. Out of all of the final bosses throughout the series, sorry, I'm trying to. I'm actually trying to remember which final boss this is. I'm just kind of trying. I'm going sort of mentally going through a list of all the final bosses in my head here to try and remember here. But I'm also a little focused because like Wizrow and Milozolfo's chieftains and stuff are all dying left and right, and I don't have any strong attack moves with freaking Volga yet because I have his combos. I guess I'd have to come. I'll have to re-comment on this in the next episode because I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
That's all right.
I'll look it up in between episodes and make a comment on it at the beginning of the next episode. So
Yep.
I'm too focused right now to think of the.
Your least favorite.
Remember. Yeah.
Okay, so while you're trying to remember that in the back of your head, like bosses some of the best, the bosses we actually liked, and we go back again and again and again to fight.
Indeed.
And I'm gonna start off this time because my pick is actually a bit of a weird one.
Ow! 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 Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting annihilated by Zelda over here.
Like one of my favorites is actually the and this is technically a twofer because you can't play one game without the other. The Veron and General Onyx fights from the Oracle games.
Veron and Onyx. Yeah.
I really enjoyed those fights. Like the Onyx fight, the phase where you have to make sure you don't accidentally hit Din, otherwise you get a game over. Then he turns into a giant frack off dragon is kind of cool. And Bear with all her shape shifting, to keep you on your toes.
Right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed those fights. Ryu, your favorite of the final bosses?
My favorite of the final bosses,
Got her.
this final boss, it wasn't so much a amazing fight to do over and over again kind of thing for me, but he just left that kind of an impression. It was like, dude, I'm never going to really be able to forget you out of any bosses ever. It was because of his reaction as you finally ran into him at the end of the game. Twilight Princess final boss.
Ooh, that Ganondorf fight.
Oh, no. Not the Ganon guy. I'm talking Iguana Helmet.
Oh, Zan?
Dude freaked me out in so many different ways. It made me so I could never forget that little booger, no matter what other fights I've ever been in. No matter how weird the enemies ever got, nobody could top that dude's flip out bit when we finally got there.
Right.
Trust me. I went on a whole spiel in an earlier episode explaining why I like Zant so much.
Zan,
It was hilarious. He was also cocky the entire game, and then you walk up on his doorstep with all this gear stuff you picked up along the way, and you're like, "Well, I'm here now. Now what?" And his entire head, he just goes, "Creak." He turns into an owl thing, and I'm like, "The heck you doing? What the heck?"
Right. I completely understand. Yeah. No, that was pretty cool. Excuse me. Well, to finish off this episode, my favorite boss, and this is going to completely contradict Ryu's earlier comment, which is I actually really liked Nightmare, aka Deathel. So I actually really liked that one. But I'll get into, since I have to talk about my least favorite, I'll get into a little bit more on that when we head off to the Palace of Twilight here. I'll probably play as Wizrow because I hate playing Sia. That said, I do hope you guys have enjoyed so far. If you have, please feel free to subscribe. Feel free to check the video description down below for a link to the playlist so you can get caught up on any of the episodes you may have missed. And also there's a link to the to my Patreon and to my novel that I published there as well. So feel free to check those out because they really do help out the channel. And we will see you all next time.
Ciao.
Later, peoples.
See you later.